What up gamers, Fencer here, and welcome to my reaction to the SpongeBob Conspiracy compilation with 8 new mini-theories. Last time we watched the Neptune theory and the Grandpa mini-theory. In this video, we'll be watching the Goofy Goober theory and the Squidward Director mini-theory. And yeah, as always, I would recommend you guys to go and check out this video on his channel, Alex Bale, and give him a view and some watch time, because yeah, he does definitely deserve all that. But yeah, guys, let's go and watch it here. The Goofy Goober theory, then afterwards, the Squidward theory here. Let's see it. And I think with this one, the next one's coming up, like the Goofy Goober and the robot invasion. Yeah, these over here. I think from my memory, like I'm gonna sound like a hater for a few seconds, but I think these were like my least favorite ones. With like I think the Ghost Pirate one was my least favorite. But maybe it'll be better like in retrospect when I view it again. We'll see. I'm just curious about them to see if maybe I'll like them more now.
That's right. You read the title correctly. This is the
Oh,
Goofy Goober Alien Death
what was
Cult
that?
theory. And no, I am not joking. This seemingly innocent ice cream parlor is a front for something very sinister.
It's no coincidence that this theory I chose to be sponsored by Happy Meat Farms. Actually, that's very fitting. Very, very fitting.
The beloved SpongeBob movie actually
Yeah,
has
if you don't know anything about Happy Meat Farms, there's this whole Muse ARG. I would recommend you guys to go and just watch like the original like individual theory videos. And I think starting at the third one is when it really starts, like that whole Muse ARG stuff.
a much darker and tragic meaning to it. I am being 100% serious when I tell you that I think this is my best.
I still like this theory, but dang, I exaggerate a lot in this intro.
Convincing theory yet. And if you thought my evolution theory was dark, well, get ready. This is the Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult theory.
Yeah, one thing I will say from like my memory is that, even though I said at the beginning where, these were like maybe my least favorite ones, from like what I remember with this one here, I do like the concept. Like I do think there is something going on. I think the ending is what I didn't like about it, but we'll see.
Oh boy, Alex has finally lost his mind. Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult theory?
Yeah.
What, did he make that in a random word generator? Some people have already found this, but I hit a bunch of teasers for future theories in this random word generator. We got robot.
Yeah, I noticed some of this. Well, maybe not this one, but I feel like there was another one when he was like typing in something, like in the Google like search bar.
Apocalypse, Ghost Pirate, and even Meat
Oh wait,
Spore.
I never noticed that too. Like they were just here. Robot Apocalypse. Yeah, I didn't notice this one. This one was a cool thing.
For when the series just became full films. Just a fun way to foreshadow things. Huh, I wonder if there's any teasers for future projects hidden in this video.
Yeah. The Cult of the Goofy Goobers.
Goofy Goobers is an old-fashioned ice cream parlor that first appeared in the SpongeBob movie. It's the very definition of a fun, innocent place for children. So, how on earth did I come to the conclusion that it's actually an alien death cult? In fact,
So the theory is more about
what even
something. I can't
is an alien death cult?
can't read it, man. A title.
It's a religious group that
I can't
wants you
hide
to
it.
believe that one day aliens will come to Earth and take the members of the cult to a better place. And in order to get there, they have to commit mass suicide. The most infamous example of this being Heaven's Gate. Like I said, this is going to be a very dark video with some serious subject matter. So
I don't know much
have
about
anything
this
to do
topic.
with Goofy Goobers. In
Like
the
when I
more
watched this
recent
video, it's my
seasons of
first time
SpongeBob,
hearing
they've
about
started
this.
referencing Goofy Goobers again. In fact, there's even an episode called The Goofy Newbie where Patrick gets a job there. And it's in this episode when Patrick is watching an employee training video that I first realized there was something more going on here.
The story of our ice cream begins with our founder, Reginald Goober, who for some unexplained reason was nicknamed Goofy. In 1842, he headed
does look
west in
goofy.
a covered ice cream wagon. He served his warm ice cream on rocks and sticks. From those humble beginnings, Goofy Goober has grown into a multi-billion-dollar business.
You know, it's a pretty standard company video. They just want their employees to wash their hands and keep their work area clean.
We only ask that you, 1, practice good hygiene, 2. Maintain good work habits.
Nothing out of the ordinary, except there's one more thing that they want you to do.
And 3. Believe in extraterrestrials.
Peace, hugs, and ice cream!
Huh. An organization that wants you to believe in aliens. That couldn't be a Heaven's Gate reference in SpongeBob, could it? No, that's crazy.
So yeah, I don't know
And
much
even if
about
it was,
that.
It could just be a random throwaway gag.
And I
There's
kind of
no
forgot
way
about it
Goofy
too, like right
Goobers
now.
is actually a cult, right? But then I started to rewatch every appearance of Goofy Goobers, and things took on a whole new meaning. One of the most basic ideas of a cult is that they strip you of your individuality and make you change your entire identity to be about the cult. And that's exactly what Goofy
Oh.
Goobers does.
SpongeBob losing his identity and being pressured into becoming someone else is a big intentional parallel to my character becoming to SpongeBob guy.
Everyone there wears Goofy Goober uniforms just like a cult. I mean, what other restaurant has not just employees, but customers that always dress up in a specific way? And their theme song that is constantly repeated and reinforced is just the simple line,
Yeah.
I'm a Goofy Goober, yeah. You're a Goofy Goober, yeah. We're all Goofy Goobers, yeah.
I'm a Goofy Goober, you're a Goofy Goober, we're all Goofy Goobers. It is
Yeah, when you think about, like, when you take in consideration of the whole cult stuff, then yeah, I can definitely see this be like, yeah, it's definitely viewed in a different way now since I'm thinking about all the cult stuff.
literally just a song saying that your whole identity is based around Goofy Goobers, and that's it.
And yeah, I know with in this video, Alex Bale, he goes and breaks down what makes up a cult and stuff. But for me, I have no knowledge. I don't even know what would be even considered like a cult. So yeah, I don't know if like any of this is like accurate or not. So instead, I'm just here to enjoy the ride.
And in the SpongeBob movie, there's a scene where SpongeBob and Patrick have to try their best to not sing along to the theme song, and it literally causes them intense pain to not sing along.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying so hard.
It's as if they've been brainwashed and physically can't stop themselves from singing it. And you can't even just chalk this up to SpongeBob and Patrick being weirdos. 2 other fish can't stop themselves from singing along, even though it means they'll get beat up for it.
Goofy, Goofy, Goober, Goobers, yeah!
It's a very catchy song, man. How can you not sing it?
And just like how many cults have an icon or god that they worship, Goofy Goobers has the dancing peanut mascot that's all over the restaurant's branding. I mean, just look at how excited all the kids are when he comes out.
Goofy Goober!
Alright, but just because kids like a mascot doesn't mean that they have some kind of religious worship for them. Well, if you don't believe me, take it from SpongeBob himself.
Open your eyes!
Yep, they're grown-ups, man.
We
They're
blow
grown-ups.
bubbles, we eat ice cream, we worship a dancing peanut for corn's sake.
We do not worship him.
Patrick, you've been wearing the same Goofy Goober peanut party underpants for 3 years straight. What do you call that?
Worship.
Worship?
Oh, yo! That's a bit damning.
In the SpongeBob movie video game, there's even a Goofy Goober token that reads, "In Goofy we trust," replacing the word God with Goofy. Things are looking awfully culty,
In God
aren't
we
they?
trust.
Cults will also often create reading material about their beliefs for their followers to read, and Goofy Goobers is no exception to this. In the new SpongeBob spin-off, The Patrick Star Show, we see a Goofy Goober employee reading some kind of book about ice cream. And look at him, he's not busy working, he's choosing to read this in his downtime.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
very casual.
Compare him to Squidward, who sometimes reads in his downtime at work. It's not like he's reading about the Krusty Krab. This book looks a lot like it's a doctrine for a cult's beliefs. A major part of how cults
Yeah, it
get
could
so
be.
successful is by getting their followers to give them money. Now, obviously, Goofy Goobers charges people for ice cream, but they actually convince their followers to trade their money for a made-up Goofy Goober currency.
I don't know what pint and
Oh, this is
spoon
from the
you,
movie.
But if you let us go, I can make it worth your while.
What is this?
That,
Dennis.
sir, is $5 Goober dollars. Legal tender at any participating Goofy Goober.
This would explain how the Goofy Goober found
A common critique of this theory is that a lot of evidence exists in real life. In real life, non-cult businesses like how Chuck E. Cheese has mascots that kids love, or how you can exchange money at Dave and Buster's in custom currency. But my point isn't that any of these pieces of evidence prove that Goofy Goober's is cult. It's that when they are all put together, they paint a pretty suspicious picture. Plus, they're all more extreme than their real life examples. Clearly, SpongeBob has exchanged all of his money for Goofy dollars, which isn't normal. Dang, if it's all, oh my gosh, that's a bit troublesome.
An idiot who sold ice cream on rocks and sticks, turned the company into a multi-billion-dollar franchise. He convinced people to believe that aliens would one day take them to a better place and got them to give him all their money. Another tactic that cults use to indoctrinate people is overloading them with compliments and making them feel special, and that's exactly what Goofy Goobers does to Patrick when he gets a job there. The training video says that they appreciate him.
Hello and welcome. As a new Goofy Goober employee, we'd like you to know that we appreciate you.
And then his manager says the exact same thing.
I'm your manager, and I want you to know that I appreciate you.
And then despite Patrick messing
really
up
appreciate
and causing
them.
chaos, the manager says it once again.
I'll give you another chance tomorrow. If it doesn't work out, I'm afraid you're fired. In a most appreciative way.
The most
There is
appreciative
no reason
way.
for the manager to be this appreciative of Patrick after all the terrible work he's done. He's just trying to emotionally manipulate
Okay, I can
him.
admit
The
this
tactic
evidence
is
was pretty
especially
weak.
effective on vulnerable people like children, and we see this in the Patrick Star Show. Not only did Patrick start
I thought it
eating
was still
Goofy
good
Goober
evidence.
ice cream when he was young, and
At least in my
eventually ended
opinion.
up working there and worshiping their
Like,
god,
if that is
but
true
this
where
green kid also
They're trying to emotionally, convince them. Then yeah, I'm sure like just feeling welcome to it would be a part of it. Just like how they're just appreciating you.
grew up to become an employee at Goofy Goobers.
There he
There's
is.
a clear pattern here. Kids who eat the ice cream all eventually join the cult.
That's not the same person, bro. The teeth are different. He got more teeth. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's a strategy.
All right, yeah, I agree they look different, but this isn't even like a theory. This scene is literally a flashback from the Peanut Guy's perspective.
You know, I was wondering about that because I couldn't tell, like when I watched this back then, if that was the same person. Because like just the way it transitioned, I don't know if that was like because I'm guessing this is from the Patrick Star Show or something, but I'd never seen this scene before. So I was wondering if that was just from just the way Alex edited this, or if it was like a real unedited scene from whatever show this one is from.
The show is directly telling us that they're the same person.
They are specifically targeting children for indoctrination, but their manipulation goes far beyond just psychological tactics. Trust me, we've just scratched the surface of how far Goofy Goobers will go to brainwash its members. Things are about to get darker.
Hold on, this is kind of getting weird. I'm getting goosebumps. Yo, this is weird!
Don't eat the ice cream. This is both referencing about the cult drink the Kool-Aid expression, but also don't feed the muse. It was also foreshadowing what Alex was doing with the cat in the original theory upload. You know, that's pretty cool how like a lot of the don't feed the muse stuff kind of like mirrors his theories. Like I feel like it's a cool way to like match them up together. Like it's not just like randomly made the muse story, the whole muse thing. Like it's also like just being reflected upon his theories here.
There's a part in the SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob and Patrick go to Goofy Goobers and eat tons of ice cream all night to the point where they become completely drunk off of it. It's a really funny scene, but it begs the question, why does the ice cream get them drunk? Maybe that's just how ice cream works in the SpongeBob universe, and it's the show's way of making a family-friendly alcohol reference.
Yeah, I remember just seeing that for the first time too. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, when I saw this, I never thought much about it. But then, like, after some rewatches, like, yeah, that's definitely some drinks to get you drunk. It's a funny way to show that here.
But we've seen other instances where characters eat tons of ice cream and it doesn't have this effect on them.
Yeah, it's only the Goofy
maybe
Goober
this was
ice
just
cream.
a one-time gag for the movie, and it's not a consistent part of the continuity.
But in the season 11 episode Call the Cops, we get this scene.
Yeah, look at him. Goofy Goobers.
One One too many goofy goobers again, eh, Patrick?
Yeah. So yeah, they do get
So, another
drunk.
deliberate reference to Goofy Goober ice cream having a weird alcoholic effect on people. Is it possible that they put something in the ice cream to make people more open to cult indoctrination? Cults have been known to use drugs to keep their followers obedient and suggestible, one of the most infamous examples of this being Charles Manson, who used LSD to convince his followers of his beliefs. If this is the case with Goofy Goobers, they'd probably want to make sure
My dog wants to go
everyone
in.
there eats as much ice cream as possible, and the Goofy Goober building is actually cleverly designed in a way to ensure that this happens. There are no windows in the entire building, so you can't tell whether it's day or night. And the Goofy Goober clock just has
just like a
random
casino.
numbers on it, so it's impossible to
The
keep
clock has the same something as Goofy Goober's founder. It's like he's always watching.
track of time. Because of
Oh,
this,
the hat.
SpongeBob eats ice cream all night and is actually late for work for the very first time. Also, can I point out the fact that the eyes on the clock seem to follow Patrick around in the Goofy Newbie? It's a really creepy and specific detail to include. I mean, we know from the movie that the eyes are usually supposed to be looking straight ahead, but here they're always watching Patrick, their next target for indoctrination.
It's so weird and
Now,
creepy.
If the ice cream is what keeps their followers in line, they definitely want to make sure their employees were eating as much as possible. And it turns out Goofy Goobers actually has a policy about this.
Wow, I can't believe Goofy Goober's employees get to eat all the ice cream they want on this job.
That sounds like a good job, though.
Employees get to eat all the
As long as you like
they
ice cream
want.
for the rest of your
Very
life.
Interesting. And there's evidence to suggest that the ice cream can do a lot more than just make you suggestible. At the beginning of the Goofy Newbie, Patrick is holding up the line asking for samples of ice cream. The employee he's talking
there
to
she
gets
is.
frustrated and calls for security to kick him out.
You sampled every flavor we have. Will you please just pick one?
I would like you to use my spoon.
Security, we have a sample mooch at the counter.
But there's something oddly familiar about this employee. Hang on a second. Isn't that Patrick's sister? The new spin-off, The Patrick Star Show, is a prequel to the main show that
At first, this part was kind of weird when I saw it. But then, like, Alex later on shows some really interesting evidence
introduces us to Patrick's little sister, Squidina.
that convinces me.
And here, we see her all grown up, working at Goofy Goobers. She's even credited
Yeah,
as
here.
Squidina and has the same
Like, yeah, Squidina.
voice actor.
No,
Same voice
no,
actress.
It's not. Look at the head. You're saying the hat. No, the hat. Look at her head. Her head right here is they.
I mean, with the head, I mean, I would say just it's the peanut that's been covering it. If anything, like, whatever, like, I'm not sure if that's a lip or a nose. But, you know, I'm guessing over time I guess, it matured. I'm not sure how do you say it, but, like, you know, when you grow up, maybe some facial features have been more, I guess, grown out. I don't know how to say it.
Bigger than the head. You're telling me when she grow her head not gonna get bigger? BS.
Again, I agree the designs look different, but the show is telling us in the credits that they're supposed
And
to.
this one is, I would say, way, like, it pretty much is a definitive proof that that is the same. If it says Squidina, and that's the same voice actress, apparently, then yeah, that's, it's her.
the same character. This isn't a me problem. This is this is the show's problem, not mine.
I know that even there's another episode where Squidina was there, and I think she did look like the, you know, this version as well. And you know, I haven't watched the Patrick Star Show, so I'm just wondering how that works with the timeline, because during that scene, it looked like Squidina didn't even realize that was Patrick. Or maybe, you know, because she's kind of like the one running the show, that maybe she's trying to fake it. Like, you know, pretend like they never met, because I'm sure Patrick doesn't remember Squidina, maybe.
Also, this is another theory where I don't really have much new stuff to add, so I'm just gonna respond to this guy's reaction video because I think he's really funny. In the Patrick Star Show,
Also,
we
he brings
actually
up some
do see her
comments
eating
about
Goofy
something.
Goober ice cream as a kid.
Yeah, she did get this popsicle from Goofy Goobers.
which fits with the pattern of kids who eat the ice cream eventually getting indoctrinated into the cult. Now, Squidina and Patrick have a very close, loving relationship in the Patrick Star Show, but here, they act like they're total strangers. It's not surprising that Patrick would forget his own sister, but Squidina is always portrayed as being smart. It's almost like she completely forgot about him. One of the biggest tactics that cults use to indoctrinate people is isolating them from their friends and family to make them more vulnerable and dependent on the cult. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with Squidina. She has no memory of her family. The ice cream might just be affecting her memory as well. I mean, if she was just meant to be some random reusable character here with no continuity, why would the creators go out of their way to specifically credit her as Squidina, unlike the
Okay, so the ice cream has that effect on her.
other random employees who are just credited as employee? Feels like
That's why she doesn't
deliberately
remember.
trying to draw attention to it.
Oh, never mind. She has the same name, so I can't debate it. They're the same
It's
name.
hard to debate
okay. Thank you. Never mind.
At the end of the Goofy movie, Patrick goes crazy and eats a ton of the ice cream, and then the episode ends in a very interesting way.
There's the alien. I wonder if Goofy Goober alien's something.
I don't think Patrick was actually abducted by aliens. I mean, we see him on Earth in the very next episode, and the UFO has the same fake look as the one in the training video. I think that because of all the ice cream he ate, he now fully accepts the Goofy Goober's beliefs, and it's caused him to hallucinate the UFO. So, at this point, I'd say we can make a very strong case for Goofy Goobers being a cult, but with this realization comes a very dark and tragic new meaning for the SpongeBob movie. Believe me.
Yeah, it's all about being a Goofy Goober.
Same way again.
First being a man, now there were men. Act 3, the SpongeBob movie.
The 2004 SpongeBob movie is my favorite thing to come out of the franchise. It's funny, it's emotional, and it encapsulates everything great about SpongeBob. In this movie, SpongeBob goes on a journey of self-discovery and realizes that he doesn't need to change who he is and grow up to fit into society. He just has to embrace his inner kid and be himself. It's a great message that feels really fitting for the character. But
then,
if you replace the word kid with Goofy Goober, SpongeBob's arc takes on a whole new meaning. It's
very
not
different.
about SpongeBob embracing being himself. It's about SpongeBob fully accepting the indoctrination and beliefs of the Goofy Goober cult. The movie starts with SpongeBob not getting promoted to manager of the new Krusty Krab, a job that he desperately wanted and believed that he would get. When he finds out that Squidward got chosen instead of him, it completely destroys him. Cults will target vulnerable people who are at extremely low points, and the first place that SpongeBob goes to after having his heart broken is Goofy Goober's. After a night of getting drunk off of ice cream, he becomes resentful of Mr. Krabs and decides to tell him off.
I deserve that manager job, but you didn't give it to me.
I like the look of this SpongeBob.
Kid, well, I am 100% man, and this man has got something to say to you.
In fact, if King Neptune didn't interrupt and try to kill Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob probably would have quit and been fully able to join the cult. SpongeBob and Patrick go on a quest to retrieve Neptune's crown, and it's almost like every obstacle they face along the way is specifically designed to make SpongeBob and Patrick realize the dark truth about Goofy Goobers, but they fail to do so at every turn. So, they first stop at this tough guy bar full of men who
I think this is the only one, a Thug Tug, from like what I remember, that kind of serves as an obstacle. I forgot about the other ones.
Anyone that isn't manly enough. But I think there's actually a lot more going on here than it seems. This place actually has an insane amount of similarities to the Goofy Goober ice cream parlor. They're both shaped like boats, they both have bikes out front and a bar inside, and they both have two-word titles that start with the same letter, Goofy Goobers and Thug Tug. Is it possible that
this one I feel like is very convincing.
This place is actually a former Goofy Goober's establishment that was abandoned? I mean, they literally have the Goofy Goober theme song on hand.
Yeah, that is true.
SpongeBob, it's the Goofy Goober theme song.
And they claim that no kids are allowed here, yet we see some old kid-sized handprints in the bathroom.
Yeah, that one I'm not sure about. because I don't know what counts as like kid-size handprints. I mean, everyone has fins. The only one that would make sense would maybe be SpongeBob putting his hand there. Like he's the only one, maybe him or Sandy, that can like maybe make those kind of handprints. Everyone else like is a bit different where they either have two fingers, where like one of them is like 4 fingers long. But yeah, that part I'm not sure about.
How the fuck you know those are kid-sized handprints?
Yeah.
It could just be a different breed of fish.
You know what? I actually agree with you on this one, man. The handprints definitely were a stretch. I'm better than that. That's my bad.
If this really is a former Goofy Goobers, then these guys would probably know the truth about the cult, which would explain why they're so against having anyone who's not manly in the bar. It's not because they hate kids, it's because they're trying to keep out a dangerous cult. If SpongeBob and Patrick just stuck around a little longer, maybe they would have learned this too, but they quickly sneak out and even make fun of the tough guys at the bar.
Come on, Pat, one more time.
Okay. We're on a baby hunt. I don't think we don't know how to weed them out.
Clearly, they didn't get the lesson they were supposed to from this place. Then they go.
No, yeah, I do like the whole Thug Tug thing because it's cool. Like everything about it makes sense of it being like the anti Goofy Goober area with the Thug Tug, you know, 2 T's like the Goofy Goobers with the 2 G's. Then the whole ship design where one is kind of like fallen, as if like, you know, they took down that establishment of the Goofy Goobers. And then they have some Goofy Goober like music on hand too. I think everything about that is really good evidence.
Go through a fish graveyard and stop at a random ice cream stand, but it turns out it was actually
Oh,
a
and I
trap
remember.
for a monster to lure unsuspecting victims.
Okay, Patrick, you can let go now.
Pretty much saying like ice cream is evil, I think.
An ice
Yep.
cream store that's a facade for something darker that lures people in.
And apparently same
keeps them
color scheme, he
trapped.
said.
It's like the ocean is literally screaming the truth to SpongeBob and Patrick, but they just aren't getting it. But then they reach an obstacle that's just too great for them to pass, and it makes them reevaluate some things about themselves.
We're not kids.
Open your eyes, Patrick! We worship a dancing peanut for corn's sake! You've been wearing the same Goofy Goober peanut party underpants for 3 years straight!
Oh, you're right, SpongeBob.
It isn't until Mindy helps them realize that they're more than just Goofy Goober kids that they
They're
can
men.
continue on their journey. They sing an entire song about how they believe in themselves now, and Patrick even says this.
Now that we're men...
I changed my underwear.
They have finally broken free from the cult's indoctrination, but unfortunately,
then Dennis.
it doesn't last very long. They're stopped by a hitman Plankton hired to take them out, and he completely destroys all the progress they've made to grow as characters.
Step aside and you won't have to feel the awesome wrath of our mustaches.
These.
They were fake?
Of course they were fake.
They end up getting abducted by a scuba diver who, to them, is a terrifying alien from another world, which is an interesting parallel to Reginald Goober being taken by aliens. They're taken to Shell City in a room full of dead fish, a place eerily similar to a death cult after a mass suicide. While SpongeBob and Patrick are being dragged to death, they decide to fully embrace the Goofy Goober's beliefs and spend their last moments alive singing the Goofy Goober theme song.
Oh man. It feels darker when you think about it. Just fully embracing it by singing it. Even the song that Alex used here. It's not as like sad
But
as
then,
before.
Just like death cults always promise, they and everyone in the room are reborn when the sprinkler system turns on.
And they're back.
As dark as hell. He is not.
Hey,
They're literally
I watch that guy
dying for this
sometimes.
fucking cause.
I think he has South Park
my
reactions.
God, no, it's getting too much. No. No.
Hey, wait a second. I thought you said the whole SpongeBob movie was fake, and I thought you said Shell City was actually full of victims from the human war.
Whoa.
I'll get back to this in the mini theory, but it makes sense, trust me.
Then
Oh, I can't
we
wait
get
to see
the
that.
climactic finale of the movie. SpongeBob returns to the Krusty Krab, now a changed man. He has to battle Plankton and his army of mind-controlled slaves, and this is how the final confrontation plays out.
And if I've learned anything during that time, it's that you are who you are. So yeah, I'm a kid, and I'm also a goofball, and a wingnut, and a knucklehead McSpazatron.
What's going on here?
But
Knucklehead
most of
McSpazatron.
all,
That's what that
I'm
old lady called him, right?
Take it easy.
That's the only reason why I remember that line.
I'm a goofy goober. On first watch, this is such a satisfying and cathartic moment for SpongeBob. But
It
in
is.
reality, this is the moment that he has gone past the point of no return and becomes a goofy goober. Now, this is normally when I pretend like the video was over and then surprise you with a last minute twist, but I don't need to pretend this time. If you think this entire video has been insane rambling and none of this could possibly be intentional, well then just for you, I have saved my best piece of evidence for last. Are you ready? While SpongeBob sings the
Actually, I think this part here, the next part that he's about to show, I think that was like maybe my least favorite evidence about this theory.
Goofy Goober song, we cut to him
I guess other than what I discovered right now with the whole handprint stuff.
standing on the world and getting abducted by a UFO. And even the UFO's lights make a pattern of red, yellow, red, which is eerily similar to the Goofy Goober UFO that has 2 red cherries with a yellow banana in.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, we saw the UFO even just like alternating between them. But I don't know if that's really supposed to be. Yeah, I think this part here, I'm not sure if it's really supposed to be mirroring that.
the middle. And that is the Goofy.
Okay. Dang it. So I can't read this part, but I still think SpongeBob being abducted by an alien at the end, um, time he finally fully accepts being a Goofy Goober is really interesting and a strong connection. Yeah, I think the whole alien stuff is stronger than just the color of the lights of the UFO. But yeah, I wasn't really convinced about the color stuff because I know he made a big deal out of that. I'm not really convinced by that part. But the alien, though, it is interesting to think about. Like, I do think there's a connection with that.
Goober, alien, death cult.
Yeah, look,
theory.
he even admits it here. Okay, that's what it said. He admits that the colors are not that impressive. But yeah, I agree with him here where, the alien part is what I feel like is more of a stronger evidence.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah, we lost him. We lost Patrick. We lost him and Patrick. They're done, bro. It's over.
They're gone.
Yup, they got him. They got him. Patrick, they got you, gang.
I'm crying. I shed a real tear.
Whoa. Dang, what was this reaction? Never seen this one.
I do believe it. I mean, I think it's passable. It's definitely passable. I'm not mad at it. It's not a bad theory. I mean, it goes pretty well.
Thank you, Waka, and thank you all of the reactors. Love you guys.
Why do you keep recommending Alex Bale? Let's see.
Oh,
it's
moist.
the SpongeBob conspiracy guy.
Oh, he knows. Yeah, how does it hold up? Ooh, if I had to guess. I mean, the thing is, I think just even starting with the ice cream of Goofy Goobers, getting them drunk, I feel like that's even enough to like warrant a theory like, why does this happen? Is there more going on with Goofy Goobers? But yeah, I'm sure, but yeah, with what he said so far, like I said, I'm not sure just how exactly accurate it is with like what makes up a cult. But yeah, if all of that is true, then I think it hold up pretty well. The thing is, it's really hard for me to really grade this, but assuming what he said was like strong, as like except for like maybe the ending and that in the handprints, those are like or like maybe the only ones that I disagree with. I thought this one held up pretty well. Maybe it will be in the middle. I don't really see him placing it, near the bottom. Like I think 7th place might be available for him. I kind of forgot, but I don't see him placing it there. Maybe the next two is where he'll place it at. But yeah, I gotta say, like, even though at the beginning I said that these were like maybe my least favorites, maybe this one wasn't that bad. Just rewatching it, actually, it's a lot better than I remembered. I think it's just the ending when he just built it up to be like a very impressive piece of evidence. I think that's the one that I guess for some reason I remember the most of it being kind of negative for me.
Alright, the Goofy Goober alien death cult theory. Honestly, half the reason I made this theory was just because of how funny the title was. And I think that's probably why this one
I would say
gonna go in
oh,
7th
really?
place for me.
For me, I would place it in 5th. Maybe I just need to read like watch these. But yeah, I don't remember much about these. Maybe I need to watch them to maybe, maybe accept that it'll be in 7th place. But for me, I feel like it will be in the middle, in my opinion. But you will see. I need to watch these over here.
I think this is my best, most convincing theory yet. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe that statement was a little exaggerated, but
like, for me, I think it's fine if you ever make stuff like that. It's just, showmanship, just to bring in the audience. Stuff like that, I don't really mind, because everyone says stuff about that when it comes to like trying to selling their product.
I did really like this theory when I was making it, and I still definitely do. It's not a bad theory. I think there is definitely some really undeniably culty things about Goofy Goobers, but
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue is that a lot of my evidence relies a little too much on specific real-world comparisons to real cults. I think the best fan theories mostly use evidence or the internal logic directly from the media itself, instead of trying to apply some specific outside real-world logic to something that isn't real. And that's especially the case with a surreal cartoon.
That's not to say you should never use this as evidence. It just shouldn't be the main focus. Okay, I guess I can kind of respect that. I just never thought it was. I thought it was still okay for evidence with like what he used. But yeah, I guess that's also understandable too. But I thought what he just presented so far was good.
Tune like SpongeBob.
The thing is, yeah, for me, like I said, I would put it in 5th place just because I have no idea, like I said, what makes up a cult. So I don't know if that's true or not.
But even if it's not my strongest, it's still a really funny and absurd idea that surprisingly still kind of works. And
It still
why
works,
else
in my
are you
opinion.
even watching YouTube SpongeBob conspiracy theories, if not to see something extremely stupid being taken extremely seriously, and yet still somehow make sense? Okay, mini theory.
Here we go. I want to see what this one is like. The Squidward director theory. Did he direct a SpongeBob movie?
When it comes to SpongeBob theory crafting, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is a pretty contentious topic. Why is there no continuity between the movie and the show? Does the movie take place in the future as the canonical end of the SpongeBob timeline like many people believe? Or does it...
I mean, when it comes to the Krusty Krab too, I mean, just knowing that maybe Mr. Krabs is also just behind it too. Like, yeah, that whole Krusty Krab 2 could be just a fake. But it's so weird, man, because, like, then you have characters like SpongeBob being the manager of it. And I'm sure, like, with him hearing the news that maybe it's a fake, it would not go well with him. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's really going on with that.
take place when it was released between season 3 and 4, and it was just a fake movie production that holds no continuity. But wait a second, if it's supposed to be a fake movie production, then why does it also seem to have a secret narrative about joining a Goofy Goober cult? Is Shell City supposed to be a mass suicide room from an alien death cult? Or are these victims from a human fish
Oh
war?
man,
This is the
there's so many theories that he's got to make sense of here. That's going to be hard for him to maybe connect them together.
issue with creating so many wildly different theories about
Yeah.
the same show. Sometimes not everything is going to line up perfectly. And
I feel like sometimes I just pause and then I talk about something and then he just talks about it. Like, anyway.
I was ready to just give up and take the L until I noticed something really strange in the season 3 episode As Seen on TV. In the beginning of this episode, we find out Mr. Krabs has hired Squidward to direct a Krusty Krab commercial.
We're shooting our first
Okay.
ever Krusty Krab commercial. I got Squidward organizing the whole thing. He's, you know, artsy. What the? This
I like the
expensive.
mic that he just added here. I just realized that.
But when he sees the production Squidward put on is way bigger than he would need
Yeah,
for just a
expensive.
tiny commercial, he scraps the whole thing and shoots a lower budget one himself.
He kept the
But
clown, right?
There is
Did he
something
keep the clown?
very strange about the production Squidward was directing. Squidward's set has a second Krusty Krab, just like the SpongeBob
Oh, really?
movie.
Well, how do you explain that? A second Krusty Krab?
What inspired you
What
to
the
build
heck?
a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Okay, that's a weird coincidence, but whatever. But that's not all. Squidward's production also has the same giant leg with
Oh,
a
yeah.
heel and fishnet stockings that Patrick wears at the end of the SpongeBob movie.
Well, I don't know. The shoes are different.
Like, they're not exactly the same. But
Yeah.
you gotta admit, this is starting to feel a little
Unless maybe they like repurposed it, you know, gave it like new shoes. Because yeah, like you don't have to always have the same shoe on it. Maybe you can just change out the shoes.
too specific to be a coincidence, right? Is it possible the production Squidward directed for the Krusty Krab commercial was actually the in-universe production for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? This episode came out in 2002, which is the same year the real-life SpongeBob movie began production, and the similarities
Wow.
don't even end there. In the background, we can see a fish dressed with
What?
almost the exact
Dennis?
same hat, red bandana, and boots as Dennis, the hitman Plankton hires in the SpongeBob movie.
What if this guy's like the double, you know?
He's a vicious, cold-blooded predator!
It's clearly not the same guy, but listen to what Squidward says when we see him.
Mr. Krabs, everyone needs an understudy.
What if this is Dennis's understudy? We also see Mr. Krabs' understudy, who could be
Wow.
stand-in for him while he's frozen for most of the movie. And then we see a guy in a giant tomato costume, and what I assume is another guy in a giant Krabby Patty costume. And I think they're supposed to be the Patty Wagon, and they're just doing some
What?
kind of visual effects that would require people to be in the suits. But regardless, there is an undeniable amount of similarities here. I think there is a very good chance that this is the actual in-universe SpongeBob movie production. But
Oh,
if
wow.
that's all true, then why are they pretending like this is all just a commercial for the Krusty Krab?
We're making the commercial, Mr. Krabs.
Well, remember, in my television theory, most of the characters don't know they're inside of a semi-scripted TV show or movie. It's a big secret the showrunners are keeping from them. So obviously they would want to come up with some sort of cover story to keep this production a secret from the unaware characters like
Oh,
SpongeBob.
my bad.
Squidward even has
Yeah, it's kind of weird because isn't Mr. Krabs also in it too? But yet he's like acting surprised that this is happening. And then like if Squidward is in on it,
has SpongeBob bury himself in this episode to keep all the behind-the-scenes production a secret.
What are you doing, lad?
Squidward said I could help by burying myself.
So that means Squidward is not only a spy who's part of the television theory cover-up, but he's also the director of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
I don't know. That means he would have been acting during that camera room scene, right? Unless he didn't know about that, like maybe he only knows parts of like what was given to him as a spy.
And I know that sounds a little strange. Why would they choose Squidward, of all people, to direct this movie? And
Well, that's because he wants to be a director. Like I'm sure he has the passion for it. Well, maybe, maybe he's not the most talented. I don't know.
even if he was chosen for some reason, does this movie really feel like it was something Squidward made? Like,
maybe no. Maybe some people, maybe he directed it, but like people, like the human people, were keeping a close eye on him. Maybe to make sure everything goes right, and so he's kind of like maybe following their rules. Maybe they have a script already. He didn't write a script. I'm just guessing they're really controlling Squidward if he's the director.
Like, one of the main things we know about Squidward is that he is such a self-obsessed narcissist.
Dang, look at that. Handsome Squidward is over here.
Glorifies himself in all of his art. So
Oh,
why would
yeah,
a movie he
that's
directed
true.
be any different? Well, what if I told you it's not? In the SpongeBob TV show, Squidward is treated like this loser punching bag of a character.
Don't say anything, Squidward. Remember your karma.
Boom.
But in the SpongeBob movie, for the first time ever in all SpongeBob media, Squidward is kind of presented in a surprisingly flattering way. He's the one who's given
That
the
is true.
promotion of new Krusty Krab manager because apparently he's so much more mature and responsible than SpongeBob.
To be honest, he didn't really have that much. Like he didn't really suffer that much in this movie. Like he felt like kind of like the good guy, like almost hero, because he tried to stop the chum bucket. Like he marched in there too. Like he looked like a hero.
SpongeBob, despite us obviously knowing how little care or effort he puts into his job. And
Dang.
when the entire
Yeah, that's true. Because yeah, with that picture, like him showing to be like kind of lazy at his job, yet when he's the manager, like he felt more responsible. And then yeah, like I said, he just took charge. He went into the chum buckets and demanded Plankton to stop with his nonsense.
entire town is dumb enough to wear Plankton's mind control helmets, Squidward is the one character who's smart enough to see through the ruse and figure out Plankton's entire plan.
You may have hoodwinked everyone else in this backwater town, but you can't fool me. You set up Mr. Krabs. You stole the crown so Neptune would freeze him and you could finally get your stubby little paws on the Krabby
Stubby little
formula.
paws.
But you made one fatal mistake. You messed with my paycheck. And I'm gonna report you to the highest authority in the land, King Neptune.
Like, does that not sound like something Squidward would add to the movie to make
He
himself
would.
look better?
Dang.
He even gets this really great monologue at the end of the movie to wrap
Yeah.
things up, and it makes him seem so inspiring and poetic.
After going on your life-changing journey,
Okay,
you
I can see it now.
realize You don't want what you
The only thing is, the whole camera room thing. I'm just going to assume that maybe he doesn't know everything that goes behind like his employers as a spy.
thought you wanted. What you really wanted was inside you all along.
Of course, it gets cut off by a joke, and he doesn't actually win against Plankton, because
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, now that I think about it more, like there's so many spies within SpongeBob's group. You got SpongeBob, oh not SpongeBob. No, he's the one that doesn't know about the whole show stuff. No, you got Mr. Krabs, you got Sandy, and now Squidward. Yeah, I'm just wondering just how much Alex can go with this kind of like spy theory, because I feel like it might be a bit too much if like so many of his friends are spies.
still the SpongeBob movie at the end of the day, and he probably didn't actually write it, but he still manages to make himself look really good, and it's because Squidward Tentacles directed the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I think there's a lot of evidence to support this, but I still don't really know why. Out of all the people in Bikini Bottom, why did they choose him? Well,
I mean, I'm sure just because he wants to. Like he would love to direct anything, like anything arts wise or yeah, like just being on stage pretty much. He's a very artistic guy.
I think it all ties back in with Goofy Goobers. In
What?
the season
I was not expecting that. I can't think of anything at all. I think the only time I can think of like Squidward being obsessed with like food would be the Krabby Patty. And like his lower half of the body got big.
12 episode, The Goofy Newbie, we see something really strange on one of the tables.
Wait, I just saw it. One of the ice cream looks like Squidward. Is that what I saw? Yeah, there. Whoa.
A Goofy Goober ice cream that looks exactly like Squidward. Now, I noticed this back when I was first making my Goofy Goober theory, but I never really knew what to do with it.
Yeah, there's
It's
nothing
just
you can
this
do with
really
it
weird
with
background
Patrick.
detail that makes no sense. Squidward isn't even in the episode, and we've never seen him have any interactions with Goofy Goobers. But remember, what is the one thing we know about the things Squidward creates? He always makes them in his own image.
Oh,
He does
snap.
this with all of his art.
He made the ice cream. Oh, wow.
So, if Squidward was to make ice cream, I think this is what it would look like. So, this kind of implies that Squidward does have some kind of connection with Goofy Goobers. Either he works there on the side and literally made this ice cream, or Goofy Goobers made it in his likeness because he's some sort of important member of the organization, sort of like how cults
Wow.
will get celebrities to join them. And if Squidward is a member
Oh, wow, that went by so fast. I couldn't even pause. But the reason why I don't really go back is because it's so hard for me to rewind back like on this timeline thing. I forgot what you call it. I'm sure there's some buttons to do that, like on a keyboard, but I just don't know it.
Of the Goofy Goobers cult, it explains why there's this secret underlying narrative about the cult in the SpongeBob movie. It's like they got the director of the movie to include some kind of subtle propaganda about how joining Goofy Goobers is the only way to set yourself free. This isn't literally a massive
There's a hidden agenda,
but it was an intentional similarity made by Squidward to promote the cult's ideology. In fact, I think this also explains why Squidward was chosen by the showrunners in the first place to direct the movie. Not only is Goofy Goobers heavily featured in the SpongeBob movie, but there's also this weird implication that they had some kind of behind-the-scenes influence over it. Bear with me for a second. About halfway through the movie, we get a classic SpongeBob title card with the French narrator speaking.
Meanwhile.
But instead of the usual generic background, it's clearly Goofy Goober themed, despite the scene having nothing to do with Goofy Goobers. I think Goofy Goobers, being a multi-billion-dollar organization, helped fund the in-universe SpongeBob movie in exchange for having some influence over it. Not only were they able to include all this subtle cult propaganda in the movie, but they had the power to choose a director from their organization to include this narrative. And they chose Squidward Tentacles to become the director of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And that is the Squidward director theory.
Sheesh, dude. Dang, that was yeah, I mean, you know, near the end with the whole Goofy Goober stuff, I was like so confused. Cause like Squidward was probably one of the last things that I would think of when it comes to Goofy Goobers. But dang. I mean, yeah, it's just one evidence though. I don't know, I feel like if it was more consistent where there's multiple Squidward ice creams, maybe I would believe it a lot more. I think it is possible. I just wish there was more Squidward ice cream. Because that seems to be like the only one there. Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, I do like that. I just wish there was more of the Squidward ice cream to make it feel more consistent, that it's not just like a one-time thing, you know? Like it's not just like an Easter egg, that maybe these Squidward ice creams is a normal thing. But yeah, definitely a very interesting theory. I do like that. I'm not sure how I would rank it though. I forgot which one I liked it. I think this one I liked the most, right? But yeah, that was pretty much it for the Goofy Goober theory and the Squidward director mini theory. Yeah, both were pretty good. It's not as bad as I thought, the Goofy Goober theory. It's just that last part is what I felt like maybe like it, or maybe dislike it a lot. Just because, you know, just colors on a ship was not that impressive to me. The alien stuff was though. Like yeah, I can definitely see with the alien stuff. But yeah, that was pretty much it for this video here. Next time, we'll be watching the robot invasion theory and the alien jellyfish invasion theory. I remember one of his videos featured the alien jellyfish invasion. I forgot which one, but I know he mentioned it somewhere. So I guess now it became a reality. That's cool. But yeah, go check out Alex Bale if you haven't. He definitely deserves the views and watch time. But yeah, that'll be for now, guys. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good